Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news. And as always, we've got plenty to talk about. We've been away for a few days. I've been really sick for a few days. So apologies about missing the end of last week and the start of this week. But we're back. Plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss. And as you can see in the title of the video, Matthijs de Ligt gives Manchester United the green light. He wants to sign for the club. Looks like personal terms have already been agreed, and it's just up to Manchester United and Bayern Munich. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit as well about maybe a little bit of interest coming in from PSG for De Ligt as well, and it might not be all plain sailing. They can obviously offer him probably more money, and they can offer him, of course, Champions League football. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. A little bit of an update on Jean-Claude Todibo as well. Manchester United not giving up hope on him. We'll discuss a little bit about that. Maybe is that an alternative if the De Ligt deal falls through. Updates on Zirkzee as well. Erik ten Hag specifically has been, I suppose, given permission to speak with his representatives. So we'll speak a little bit about that. We've got an update on Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well, and the likelihood of Manchester United offering him a new deal are starting to fade a little bit. United are also not giving up hope on Michael Olise as well, guys. We've got a little bit of an update on that. Not sure what or how much we can really take from it, but we'll discuss it and see what you guys think. And Tom Heaton has signed a new contract extension as well, so we'll end on a positive note, as we always try to do. But as always, guys, smash a like on that video if you haven't done so already. It helps the channel out like you can't understand, so please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Like I said, we're nearly at 10,000, around 60 to go. So if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away from the start of pre-season as well. I think the 15th of July, so what's that, 13 days away before the Manchester United watch-alongs are back, and I can't wait for it. So yeah, make sure you are hitting subscribe as well. Who have we got in? Young Sauce is there, Chris is in as well, Ben, Alan, good to see you guys. We'll get down through your comments in a moment, but I want to start, guys, with Matthijs de Ligt, and Manchester United are given the green light from the man himself over a summer transfer. And Man United are a priority. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano, this. He says, De Ligt has given the green light to United over a move after direct contact with his camp. That's Man United reaching out to De Ligt's camp. Personal terms are not an issue, as his agent Pimenta is only negotiating with United. Priority for the player. Up to United and Bayern in talks over deal. Now, seeing some of the reports today that he is willing to actually take a pay cut to secure a move to Manchester United. Now, look, I mean, it's hard to kind of really judge what's going on here at Bayern Munich. And I know there's people going to be saying about, you know, the fact that how come it hasn't worked at Juventus and how come it hasn't worked at, Jesus Christ, little one is screaming. Why it hasn't worked at Bayern Munich. And I will go as far as saying I do think that injuries do have a part to play in that, okay? Is he an injury-prone player? I don't think so. I mean, he hasn't had enough injuries by the time he's 24, in my opinion, to be an injury-prone player. I don't think he is. But what do I think about this move in general? I mean, I think it's a good move for Manchester United. You're getting a 24-year-old player who has been around for a long time, it has to be said. You know, when we're talking about, you know, the potential of, you know, Manchester United going for someone like Jared Brantwaite, who's 21 years of age, and you're talking about 70 million for him, who, you know, he has little to no experience playing, you know, top-tier football. And this guy has, you know, bucket loads of experience. Now, we're probably going to get him cheaper. Now, the reports coming out today are suggesting that it's going to be about 50 million euros, not pounds. I did make a TikTok today and I said 50 million pounds and I made a mistake on it. It's 50 million euros. So we're talking about around 42 million pounds plus performance related add-ons. Okay, now I never ever have an issue with performance related add-ons, because generally what that means is that you pay more to the selling club if you are being successful with this guy in your team. So, you'll pay another 5 million if you win the Premier League, another 10 million if you win the Champions League, so on and so forth. I'm okay with all of them kind of things. United supposedly are looking to get a deal done for less than the 40 million mark. Now that's pounds, okay? So we're talking about 40... Bayern want about 42, 43 million. United are looking closer to around 37, 38 million. We'll probably come and meet him right in the middle on the 40 million pound mark with add-ons. And I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. I can deal with that. I think given the experience that you're going to be getting for that type of money, and again, like I said, you put an extra 30 million on top of that. That's what Everton are looking for. Jared Brantwaite, who has never ever played European football before. So, I think it is. Now, look, I do understand that De Ligt is right-footed and Brantwaite is left-footed, so that's understandable. And I do think we will probably be going in for another defender by the time the transfer window is over. But I think for £42 million, I think De Ligt would be a good acquisition. I really do. I don't buy into this whole fact that he's slow. I've seen a lot of people saying it, commenting on some of my videos over the last couple of days that he's really slow and he's the Dutch Harry Maguire and so on and so forth. And it couldn't be further from the truth. You look at... Let's go right back to when he played under Ten Hag at Ajax. Initially, they played a very high line. They looked to squeeze the pitch and, he was absolutely fine. You don't go to Juventus and you don't go to Bayern Munich. I mean, Bayern Munich specifically, play a high line. They play right up on the halfway line. And this guy is well able to do it, I don't buy into the fact that he's slow. I think what I would say about him is that in a way he reminds me a little bit of Van Dijk. Now he's, look, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's as good a player as Van Dijk was in his prime, but he reads the game quite well and he doesn't necessarily need to be, busting along all the time. You see it with Van Dijk an awful lot. He tends to mark the space, drop off, defend the angles more so than actually engage and go and press or, get caught with balls over the top. So, look, I think he would be a very good signing for United, and I think he brings a lot of experience into that team, And, I mean, again, look, there are the naysayers out there that are saying, Ten Hag signing another former player from Ajax. Now, let's get over this straight away. I think the days of Ten Hag on his own signing players are gone. And I think that's going to, the days of any manager signing players on their own is gone. We've got a director of football in now. Dan Ashworth is in. We've got Jason Wilcox. We've got Omar Barada. Actually, Barada starts next week, I think. We've got Dave Brailsford. These are the guys that are putting plans in place on who we sign. They're doing the work. They're, checking the stats, checking the attributes of players, checking the injury records and what's his mentality like, and has he fallen out with managers before, and so on and so forth. And they're coming to a conclusion on who we should sign. And we're signing, by the looks of things, we're more than likely going to sign De Ligt. So I'm okay with this, and I'm happy with it. I think it's, we've said this before, and we, especially, with the transfers that haven't worked out, with Manchester United, under Eric Ten Hag specifically, we've said now that there is a structure behind Ten Hag, and we're going for the likes of De Ligt. You can no longer say, Ten Hag signing another Ajax player, because it's no longer individuals signing players. It's the collective now. And I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of the manager. We've spoken an awful lot over the past couple of seasons about Anthony and how poor of a signing he's been. And that pressure falls on the manager, because he was the one that went out there and asked for him, because we had nobody behind the scenes, doing their due diligence and, actually going out and scouting players and seeing who we could actually buy. So going and getting De Ligt now, it's not Eric Ten Hag that's going and getting him. I'm sure Eric Ten Hag wants him, but it's more of a collective now, and that takes a lot more pressure off the manager. I think. Anyway, let's see what you guys think. Get your comments in, as always, guys. And we'll go through them here. Let me just jot that down there. Chris says, why would we pay 50 mil plus add-ons? Excuse me. I was sick all week. 2022, Bayern paid 67 for him. No need to pay full price for someone that can't get into their team. Let's see, what else have we got on him? I can handle £42 million. Yeah, there we go. Good signing for that price, says Ben. Positive Jack this week. Absolutely, positive Jack this week. I was sick all last week, so we're back with a bang. We're wearing the Stone Roses top. You know, it's United are looking like a professional club again. So we're going to be positive. We're going to be positive. Now, talking about De Ligt, it might not be all Manchester United when it comes to actually going and signing him, because reports coming out of Germany today, none more so than Christian Falk, says, in addition to Manchester United, PSG have also contacted Bayern to express their interest in De Ligt. Now, look, we've said this at the start of the show, that PSG can offer De Ligt a lot more than we can. First and foremost, they can offer him more money, okay? And to be honest with you, I could see it. You could see somebody who's played for Juventus and Bayern also play for PSG. It just, for some reason, you know. And they can also offer Champions League football, okay? Now, does that mean that, you know, we're going to lose out on him? I don't think so. If we go back to what Fabrizio Romano has said, personal terms are not an issue, and his agent is only negotiating with Manchester United at the moment. Now, Fabrizio said that today at 3:30, and this has come out at 6:30, okay, from Christian Falk. So now, look, I know who I would trust more, and it's obviously Fabrizio Romano. But look, I mean, when a player like Matthijs de Ligt comes up for grabs, you are not going to have it all your own way, I don't think. And Chris makes a great point there. He says, I like that De Ligt has come out and said yes to United, if that's true. Yeah, and we've said this before, haven't we, that you want to sign players who want to sign for you. You know, we've had so many, you know, mercenaries over the years that have signed for pay packages and, you know, retirement and so on and so forth, and the last deal that they can get. This guy's 24 years of age. If everything is to be believed, he wants to sign for Manchester United and he's willing to take a pay cut to come to Manchester United. They're the types of players that you want to sign, because it, you know, it shows that he wants to play for Manchester United. And of course, let's not get it twisted here. I mean, Erik ten Hag is a big draw for him. You know, they had a very good relationship at Ajax. Erik ten Hag didn't want to sell him, but, you know, they obviously came to an agreement, and, you know, by the looks of it, I mean, look, when we're talking about this, I think this is I won't say a cert, but I think it's probably one of the most likely transfers that happens for Manchester United this summer. I really do. Everything that's coming out, like we've been saying there, you know, no problem with the player. He wants to sign for United. Personal terms don't seem to be an issue, and United and Bayern don't seem to be too far apart in their valuation early in the negotiations. So yeah, look, I mean, I think this is out of 10. I'd probably go with a 7 out of 10 at the moment, if you ask me about it. I like that we have walked away from Everton and Brantwaite. To be honest with you, I think the fact that Everton just weren't willing to budge, and look, I mean, they've sold 2 players in the last week as well, I think, for 10 million each, and that also releases some pressure on them in terms of FFP and PSR and so on and so forth, so they can stick to their guns when it comes to their valuation of their player, and that's, you know, that's absolutely their right, but it's our right to as well walk away, you know, when there's nobody else really. Now, look, we know that Real Madrid showed some small hint of interest a few weeks back. 70 million just that completely got rid of them as well. So we were the only ones really in for him. And when that's the case, Everton surely know that they're valuing him out of a move. It has to be said. Anyway, guys, I want to move it on. While we're talking about centre-backs, Graham Bailey has been talking. Obviously, Graham Bailey writes for a number of different outlets, but he's been speaking today on YouTube, and he's been talking about Jean-Claude Todibo to Manchester United, and he says Man United have not given up on signing the player. There are legalities and arguments going on behind the scenes. Now, obviously, this is in relation to UEFA blocking the transfer of Todibo to Manchester United, and it's something that I'm really disappointed and quite frustrated with, to be quite honest with you. The fact that this is happening to United when we've never seen it happen before. And the player wants to sign for us. United want to get a deal done. There's nobody undercutting anybody in terms of a transfer fee. And I like to see United, standing their ground on this one a little bit. Now, again, what does this mean? If we're talking about going out and getting, Matthijs de Ligt, does that shut the door for Jean-Claude Todibo? It probably does, to be honest, depending on how many players we hold on to at centre-back. Now, it's a goal, 2-0 to Turkey, 2-0 to Turkey. Ralf Rangnick and his Austria team look to be going out. I think it all comes down to how many centre-backs we offload this summer. Now, we've heard reports of Victor Lindelof being linked with Turkey and reuniting with Jose Mourinho at Fenerbahce. And some small reports, I didn't bring it up on today's show, but some small reports suggesting that Harry Maguire could potentially move on this summer. And there's a lot of interest for him from Italy. So I think it all depends on how many players leave. And if, I think if Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof goes, we do sign two. I think we sign two centre-backs anyway. I think we need another left-footed centre-back. I think it's probably more likely that we go for a left-footed centre-back and let go one of either Lindelof or Harry Maguire, because that would give you two on either side. You would have two right-footed centre-backs in, let's say, De Ligt and Maguire, and then you would have two left-footed centre-backs in terms of, Lisandro Martinez and whoever the second centre-back is. I just said I'd bring that in. United seem to be standing their ground a little bit and fighting hard for Todibo. I mean, when the player wants to sign and the club want to sign him, I mean, it's bad form. It really, really is bad form. Clarion is in, he says, hey lads, are United starting to act like a big club? Well, we're starting to act with a bit of professionalism for once, and it is something that's quite refreshing, to be quite honest with you. It's a big relief to see, a number of different things so far in this transfer window. First and foremost, acting fast to get personnel in behind the scenes. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada. And secondly, number of different things that we've seen so far. We've moved on from targets quite quickly already that we've been linked with. We've refused to do business because clubs haven't lowered their asking price. And we look to be sounding out young players, that you can potentially get for good money. Now, we haven't signed anybody yet, but obviously the Euros being on slows everything down. But I think United, for the first time in a decade minimum, are acting with a bit of professionalism when it comes to the transfer market and when it comes to actually going out and trying to sign players. And it's absolutely refreshing to see. So it is. It really, really is. Let's see. Sign Demiral from Turkey. 2 goals today. €16 million value. There you go. Okay, speaking of attackers, small update on Zirkzee, and attacker not closing the door on Manchester United move, as Erik ten Hag has been authorised to speak to his representatives. Now look, we know that Manchester United are heavily linked with Zirkzee, and AC Milan are also in the mix. Now, it's all, the stumbling blocks here are all down to the agent's compensation packet. he wants 15 million euro. Now, my concern here is that, we've seen in the past, Manchester United being stirred up an awful lot in transfer windows to generate revenue and to start increasing the price of, of fees and of wages and so on and so forth. Is this something that's happening again? Because AC Milan have outright said that they are not willing to pay the 15 million compensation to the agent to get the deal done. I think personal terms between Zirkzee and AC Milan have already been agreed. And according to this report here, Joshua Zirkzee has not closed the door on Manchester United amid the Red Devils sanctioning Erik ten Hag to speak to the forwards agent. Milan have agreed, have an agreement on a contract in place with Zirkzee and are the Dutchman's preferred destination. So according to this report, Zirkzee actually wants to sign for AC Milan over Manchester United. The Rossoneri, though, have no deal on commission with the agent, with the demand of 15 million euro being one that they are not prepared to meet. Manchester United have stepped in, according to Italian outlet. They have given Ten Hag permission to speak to the agent. Zirkzee is claimed to have his heart set on playing for AC Milan, but is not closing the door on Manchester United. Milan are waiting to see if United signal that they will pay the 15 million euro commission. To be honest with you, I would be very surprised, given everything we've seen so far from United in terms of, starting to dig their heels in and gaining some, hopefully, a little bit of respect within the transfer market, when we're walking away from the likes of Brantwaite and so on and so forth. Paying 15 million euro in commission to an agent is ludicrous. Given the fees that you would be paying for the player, you're talking about 40 million. So, you're talking 40% nearly. I'm not sure the maths, but you're talking in around 40% of the transfer fee on top for the agent. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, this is one that in my eyes, I could see dragging on for a little while, and you don't want that to happen. Now, look, we know that getting in a second striker is one of the top priorities for Manchester United this summer. Rasmus Højlund can't lead the line on his own again. And getting this young lad in, Zirkzee, I think would be a very good signing for us. I really do. Again, I won't go into what we said before about, the profile of the player, having two young strikers. I think that would be the ideal scenario. However, we have to hold this one in the same regard as any other deal. If the agent is saying, I want 15 million, and if this lad wants to sign for AC Milan ahead of him and so on and so forth, and we're not going to meet the 15 million like AC Milan will, walk away. Walk away. Let's move on, and let's look at getting another striker in. Like we said, players will be back next week for pre-season. So, and I've seen an awful lot of worry is probably the best word. Oh, Austria pulled one back. Go on, Austria. I've seen a lot of worry online from United fans about the fact that we've got no players signed yet. Now, look, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. When there is an international competition on in the summer, it slows everything down. It really does. And, I mean, when you look at it, we could easily have De Ligt, Zirkzee and Ugarte signed before our first pre-season game in less than 2 weeks' time. We easily could. Now, no real updates on Ugarte. We'll get into that maybe tomorrow. But I think we easily could have 3 players signed in the next 10 days, 2 weeks, absolutely, before our first pre-season game. And give me a centre-back, a centre midfielder and a centre forward. Happy days. I think we go into pre-season then with a lot of optimism, and you can go in and really set your stall out, get players in, get them, working on whatever systems or formations that Ten Hag wants to be doing, and onwards and upwards. The last thing you want is, and again, I don't think this is going to happen. Now, look, there will be players probably coming in and signed after pre-season has started. I mean, that's pretty much a given. But the last thing we want to see is the fucking season starting and then players are coming in. 2 games into the season and we panic buy. And I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, the sooner we can get players in, the better when it comes to pre-season. I think if we can get 2 or 3 players signed before the tour. Okay, so we've got 2 games. We've got 1 game in Scandinavia somewhere. And then I think we've got a game up in Scotland. And then I think a week later we go on tour. So get them players in, get 2-3 players signed before then, and happy days. Out to pre-season, you can really set up your team the way you want to, and then off we go. I just noticed that I've got a stain on my jumper. Anyway, let's see what you guys think here, and we'll have a look here. Chris says, we have a deal in place with Zirkzee and commission rate. That's what I read. Agent actually cut his rate. There was reports about that, Chris, absolutely. But the fact that that's been in place, why hasn't the deal been done yet? So I don't know if everything is set in stone at the moment, but I did read that as well. I guess what's our plan B for Zirkzee? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. It seems to be all about Zirkzee. Now, there has been updates for the likes of Osman and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into Osman. United will not be signing Victor Osman. He's too dear. Ben says, yes, you heard the agent would lower the cost for Man United. Well, that's what we want to hear, because usually we're used to hearing, the price goes up when it comes to Manchester United. But now we're hearing that the agent is going to cut his fees, to move the player to us. Then that's absolutely brilliant. Oshin is in. Good to see you, pal. Chris clearly missed talking to Jack. There we go. Everybody always does. Finally, time for a moment. Release clause didn't go into effect until yesterday. There we go as well. So there we go. Chris knows more than I do. Happy days. But look, I mean, it's imperative that we do get a striker this summer. That's all I'll say, and we'll finish up on that one there. Want to talk a little bit about potential outgoings, guys, because obviously, look, we're focusing an awful lot on who we're signing and who we're not signing as of yet. But we've spoken on numerous occasions over the last few weeks about how important outgoings are, and there's been just as little. Probably not just as little, but there's been probably less talk about outgoings than there has been incomings. And we know that outgoings are critical to us reinvesting that money into the first team this summer. Now, one player potentially that could be moved on this summer is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and United, according to reports today, are not negotiating a new deal with Wan-Bissaka amid the possibility of a summer exit. And they will not renew to extend his stay at the club. He is believed to be one of the players Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are open to selling in case exciting offers for him are made. We forked out 45 million for him. Was 45 million good money in hindsight now for Aaron Wan-Bissaka? I mean, I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I love that old school defending. But in hindsight, was 45 plus 5 a good deal? I don't know if it was, to be honest with you. The 26-year-old is now in the final year of his terms with the Red Devils, and there is plenty of interest for his signature. Palace want him back, while other Premier League clubs such as West Ham and Wolves have been mentioned as admirers. A recent report covered by the People's Person even claimed that La Liga giants Barcelona are keen on adding Wan-Bissaka to their ranks. He is valued at €20 million. The strongest interest in the fullback seems to be coming from Galatasaray, who are thought to have even tabled an offer for the player. Darmachet says, in particular, West Ham, he said Manchester United, Wan-Bissaka, Man United's defender Wan-Bissaka, one of a number of right backs West Ham are interested in. United not actively looking to sell, but doing due diligence in that position, giving Wan-Bissaka into his final year of his contract. Now, look, I mean, Wan-Bissaka's into the final year of his contract. Does he have the? I don't. Does he have the option? No. We triggered his 1 year extension last year, didn't we? Alongside Victor Lindelof. Am I right in saying that? So he's going into the final year of his contract. And look, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will leave. If not this summer, then next summer. Now the thing about it is, I would rather him leave this summer because he will go on a free next year. I think the likelihood of Wan-Bissaka moving on is relatively high, to be quite honest with you. However, that does mean that United will have to go into the market for a right back, because we can't go through the whole season with just the low. You know, if he picks up an injury, we're in big trouble. So, I would keep an eye on that right back position, to be honest with you, because we know the way Ineos and United are working now. The reluctancy to let players run down their contracts and leave on a free is there to be seen, and is quite evident. And I don't think we're going to allow that at all, if at all possible. Now, players are well within their rights just to say, no, I'm going to see out my contract. However, Ineos seem to be moving here in a direction that, like, they're looking to just clear out the squad, and I think Wan-Bissaka is probably going to be one of them casualties. And look, I mean, €20 million recouped for 50 million paid. Sorry, I think we paid £50 million for him. So yeah, I mean, you're probably, so what's that, about 60 million? You're getting a third back. Yeah, look, I mean, I would take €20 million for him. But look, I mean, he's 26 years of age as well. Is that what it said here? Yeah, 26. I mean, you would, certain clubs would be getting an absolutely fantastic player. You know, like a mid-table team. You know, the likes of your Crystal Palaces or your West Hams or, you know, your Wolves. I mean, he would do such a fantastic job for them types of teams who play in a low block, who defend the majority of the time, and who are not looking to be massively creative going forward with your fullbacks. He is ideal. He's absolutely ideal. I would be sad to see him leave, because he's that old school defender that I like, but onwards and upwards, you know, onwards and upwards. We have to, we can't go back to that sentimentality that we've spoken about before. Let's see. Jose says, any word on Ugarte's injury? I didn't hear any updates on it, to be honest with you. Oshin says 45 mil is for better or worse going rate for average players going between British clubs. 15 to 20 million is a more realistic value. Chris says Ugarte is not injured, just a scare. He spoke after last night after the game. There we go. Oshin says, yes, we triggered the extension. Should have sold him last year. Would have got more for him. Let's wait and see about right backs. Wilcox might want wing backs. Yeah, there you go. Chris says maybe Zirkzee can play both right back and left back. Amas going to be getting a look this year. Aaron Wan-Bissaka would be ideal at West Ham under Lopetegui, says Oshin. And Jose says, talking about departures, what's your opinion on Hannibal? Keep, loan, sell. I would probably sell Hannibal, to be honest with you. Look, he's not going to get into the Manchester United team. He's just not. He's not going to get in ahead of Bruno. He's not going to get in even ahead of Casemiro, and we're looking to bring in another central midfielder as well, Ugarte, whoever else it may be. He's not going to get in ahead of Manu. Yeah, so I think probably sell. Chris says, not Zirkzee, Kirkes from South. Sorry, Kirkes. Did I misread that? I did misread that. Sorry, Kirkes. Yeah, I mean, again, like I've said before, these types of players, I've no problem with, you know, who we get. I know that Kirkes is a decent player, can play both right back and left back. So can Delors. I would be more inclined to go for a player who's just out and out one or the other, you know, because they tend to be better players, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, I mean, like I've said on numerous occasions before, now that we've got the structure behind with competent people, if they decide that, Phil Jones is the man for the right back role, then all right, let's go. Let's do it. Because that's what they're being applied to do. Now, that was obviously, I was exaggerating, because I think we would all love Phil Jones to come back and start doing that. Some of the faces he pulled by. Unreal. Now, let's talk a little bit about the right wing, okay? Because there's been some updates today in relation to Michael Olise. Now, look, United have been linked with Michael Olise. It now looks like Bayern are going to get him. However, reports are suggesting today that United are trying to hijack the move or the deal for Michael Olise to Bayern and potentially bring him to Manchester United. Let's go down through this report and let me know what you think about it. I'll skip all of that nonsense. The 22-year-old has netted 10 times last season for Crystal Palace and almost single-handedly decimated the Red Devils the last time the two... Yeah, all right, you didn't have to fucking read that part, Jack. There was enormous interest in the Frenchman from within England, but recent reports have suggested that Bayern Munich have won the race for his signature. Florian Plettenberg has said Michael Olise to Bayern is not in jeopardy at this stage. Bayern want to finalise the deal as quickly as possible because many clubs are trying to hijack the transfer, including Manchester United. The People's Person has relayed that Manchester United attempted to hijack the deal at the last moment, and those efforts are continuing as per Florian Plettenberg. Bayern's deal with the Eagles is yet to go through and small details are left to be agreed. Due to this, the medical has been postponed by a week. United are continuing their efforts to try and force a sensational U-turn from a player, but it looks unlikely as of now. Interesting. Likely, probably not. Probably not, to be quite honest with you. Look, I would love Michael Olise at Manchester United. I've said this on numerous occasions. I think he's a fantastic footballer and a real modern day right winger. Do I see Manchester United hijacking this deal for Michael Olise to Bayern? I don't, to be quite honest with you, for a number of different reasons. Obviously, what Bayern can offer him that United can't. Number one being Champions League football, and secondly, Bayern are very good at getting deals over the line. Generally, what happens when Bayern go in and they start negotiating, it gets done. I've no doubt that Michael Olise will be playing for Bayern next season, unless something dramatic happens. There's a breakdown in negotiations between the two clubs, or he fails his medical or something extraordinary like that. But as it stands, I mean, Michael Olise to Bayern is absolutely probably a 9 out of a 10 at this stage, and I don't see Manchester United again. And again, like what I've said, I mean, funds are not flush at Manchester United this summer, so I think we're going to prioritise other areas. A right winger when we've already got cover in that area, and I know the cover is not the greatest. It's Anthony, it's fucking Jadon Sancho, it's Garnacho playing out of position. I still think there's other areas that we need to get right first. We need the spine of the team strengthened, centre back, centre midfield, centre forward, before we can start looking at, because you can't spend 50 million on Michael Olise. You would have to not sign a player in another position because we haven't got the money. So I don't think this is going to happen, to be quite honest with you. To be honest with you, I would be very surprised if anybody comes in that right wing spot. I really would. I don't think it's going to be a priority this summer at all. Let's see what people are saying here. A lot to pay for a winger this summer, says Chris. Bayern offering Coleman, Kingsley to everyone. Olise is off to Germany. Kingsley Coleman, what is he now? He's probably 28, 29 now, is he? Rajat says, we'll be happy with signing Zirkzee, De Ligt, Amrabat, maybe, or Ugarte. Ben says, don't think Olise should be a priority. Good luck in a Bayern, mate. Bayern good at deals, ask Palhinha. Believe Bayern will probably get Xavi Simon as well. Chris says, to get Federico Chiesa, 26, market value only 35 million. Don't speak that name, Jadon Sancho. Bayern turning into Man United of Germany, overpaying players. Maybe so. Yeah, we've also got Ahmad, I suppose, as well, as coming through the ranks, you know, had a decent season last year for us. You know, obviously the goal against Liverpool will be a standout for him. So, yeah, look, I think we've got cover on that right wing, albeit not the most convincing of cover. I think it's cover enough for us to prioritise other areas. I really do think that as well. Guys, great to see so many people watching. If you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're about 60 away at the moment. So if you are new to the channel, great to see so many people in watching on the shows. The numbers for these new shows are growing and growing all of the time. And it's great to see. I'm really, really happy with it. So I hope you're enjoying them as well. I really do. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on the video as well, and make sure you are turning on notifications as well, guys. Like I said, you know, I was sick the last few days, so there may be the odd day here and there where I miss. You know, I've also got a full-time job and 2 kids and a beautiful wife, so we have to prioritise some of that as well. I'm also becoming the assistant manager of a club in Kilkenny as well for next season, so that is going to limit my time again, but we're not going anywhere, don't worry. There may be a couple of games I might miss next season though, just letting you know that now. But yeah, guys, I'm really enjoying the new shows every night. The interaction is absolutely fantastic in the chat as well. Make sure you keep it up, because if you didn't, it would just be me speaking to a camera on my own, which I done for about 3 months before anybody really started watching. So yeah, I'm used to that as well, if that is the case going forward. But like I said, guys, 13 days until our first pre-season game, and yeah, absolutely buzzing for it. We've got a sponsor for the channel as well, and also, by the way, anybody in Ireland, the 3rd of August, all right, huge announcement. I announced it on TikTok, and we're announcing it now on YouTube for the first time. I'm going to be playing with Yap Stam on the 3rd of August. The Ballyfermot United supporters group and the Ballyfermot United team have got a fundraising event where Carl Poborski, Brian McClare, Yap Stam, Jemba Jemba, Chris Eagles, Paul Parker, there's 4 more, I can't think of their names. They're all coming over, and there's them and a number of us social media people will be teaming up together to go and play against Ballyfermot United. You can buy your tickets for it at ballyfermotunited.com. I don't have a link in the description, but look, hold on 1 second. Here's the link coming. There we go. Link is in the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat. Head there and check out the tickets that are available, guys. If you are in Ireland, there's a meet and greet at 11 o'clock where you can go and meet all the players. That's €25. Match tickets is €25 as well. That kicks off at 3 o'clock. €25 for adults, tenner for kids. And then there's a gala dinner for 65 quid that night where you can go and have dinner with all of them players and listen to them speak and so on and so forth. Social media people, I'm not calling myself one of them, not yet. I'm a YouTuber. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm going to be playing soccer with Yap Stam. An absolute dream come true. I absolutely can't wait. So if you are in the area, if you're in Ireland, you want a day out, bring the kids, bring the missus, bring the family, whatever the case may be. Get down to Ballyfermot on the 3rd of August. Check out the tickets in the. It's pinned to the top of the chat there. Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant day. I can't wait for it. But guys, look, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. listening, and thanks for interacting as always. We'll be back again tomorrow night for more of your Manchester United news. Let's hope we sign someone soon, just to get the itch away. You know what I mean? But thanks for watching, guys. Chat to you tomorrow. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.